I want to introduce to you a great human being, the person who leads and directs our sourcing team and our global network of growers. He's going to help us better understand the difference that is doTERRA as it relates to the pure sourcing of essential oils. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Tim Valentiner. Keep your head, keep your heart strong. No. Keep your mindset, keep your head on. Oh my darling, wow. Thank you. I love hearing Cory speak. Everything he has the same presentations, but I must admit it's pretty intimidating having to follow up directly after him, but I'll do my best. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today. We were here yesterday, but here we are today, even though it is Friday the 13th. I'm not superstitious, so hopefully that doesn't change the outcome of today. I'm especially excited too to be here with you, but most excited about some people in the audience tonight is my wife, Christiane, and our 4 children, Layla, Mason, Estelle, and Audrey. They might be playing hooky from school today. So if their teachers are here, I'm sorry. You should be at school too. We were just able to hear from Cory the important reasons of why doTERRA sources the oils the way we do. And I want to focus for a little bit on how we source these oils. But first, I'd like to highlight this amazing photograph, which you'll hear actually a little bit more about later from one of our growers. This is a women's cooperative with which we are working in Odisha, India. I love this photograph, not just because of the amazing women in here, their beautiful saris and the natural setting, but mostly because of what's represented. Women, small farmers, being empowered through co-impact sourcing to improve their own lives and the lives of their families. And I'm eager to come to work every single day knowing the lives of small farmers, just like these women, can be greatly improved through growing essential oil crops. And as a result, our lives are improved through the pure and natural oils they produce. But let's dive into sourcing for a few minutes. The strategic sourcing theme objectives are to source the highest quality pure natural essential oils in the quantities needed to sustain your needs and growth. We do this through formalizing and keeping long-term partnerships with farmers and distillers around the world who share our same vision, and we call this our global botanical network. And you will actually get to meet a few of these, actually a lot of these, in just a few minutes today. As we work closely with these partners, we benefit from their multi-generation expertise while also supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs around the world, like Cory was able to show our latest numbers of over 538,000 jobs being created and supported through this. Our sourcing commitment is to ensure the sustainable supply of pure natural essential oils while also making a positive difference in the lives of farmers, harvesters, distillers, and their communities. And basically, all of this can be summed up in 2 priorities, which you've heard Cory and Emily and others talk about: sourcing the best and helping the most. So where are we sourcing? This is our map that I know everyone loves to see each year. We source over 130 different origin essential oils from over 45 countries, more than half of which are developing countries, which is where we love to be able to help the most. This updated sourcing map highlights the oil locations for many of our oils, but of course there are some oils not shown here, as we do like to keep some proprietary secrets, as you can imagine. But it helps to illustrate just how extensively we are working to source the best from all over the world. You'll notice the different colors on the map too, with some countries in teal or blue, and then others in green. These are the countries where we have co-impact sourcing initiatives happening with environmental stewardship and or poverty solutions, but more on that in just a minute. The team overseeing this effort globally is shown here. I feel so privileged every day to work with this inspiring group who come from so many different backgrounds. Our team is working tirelessly day in and day out to ensure that we can keep up with all of you, which really is not an easy task. On literally any day of the year, someone from our team is somewhere out in a field, literally, and usually in a faraway corner of the globe, ensuring we are sourcing the best and helping the most. But what I am most proud of is that we are not only the most diverse team within doTERRA, but also about the fact that more than half of our team members are either originally from or living in the regions from where they're working. This is critical. And we truly mean it, like we talked a lot about on the panel yesterday. We really mean it when we say we are at the source. This is a unique doTERRA differentiator. No other company is devoted to the same level of resources and commitment for ensuring that we can have the very best quality essential oils which our customers expect, but also a commitment to positively impact the lives of the small farmers, distillers, and communities. Another way in which we are actively securing our future and meeting our ever-growing needs is through extensive supply chain investments and even equity partnerships with other partners who share our unwavering commitment to pure and natural essential oils and to co-impact sourcing. To date, we have now invested over $130 million in our supply chains, and this continues to grow every single month. I want to focus a little bit more depth on co-impact sourcing itself. We are often asked, what does co-impact sourcing mean exactly? Our team has spent a lot of time thinking about this, nerding out on the theory and the philosophy and the mechanics. And we now have a new and improved definition and diagram, which I am very excited to unveil today. Would you like to see it? All right. This is our definition. Co-impact sourcing creates shared value for all shareholders in the supply chain by being at the source and intentionally implementing environmental stewardship and or poverty solutions. I know that's a mouthful, but we really try to pack it in there. As is hopefully evident, we spent a tremendous amount of time and effort and resources in being at the source for our oils and working closely with partner farmers and distillers. This is a cornerstone of how we are truly different as a company and how we can ensure that what we say is in the bottle is really in the bottle. Pure and natural CPTG essential oils. And while this remains a lofty goal for far too many companies, as Cory highlighted, this is the foundation of what all you expect from doTERRA products. However, for co-impact sourced oils, we are not only at the source, but we are also implementing environmental stewardship and or poverty solutions. So what do we mean exactly by being at the source? This is about knowing the people and processes in oils production, knowing the origin, the methods of farming and support provided, understanding the distillation processes. And of all of this, of course, starts with having a deep-seated relationship and trust with our partners. And then have the traceability tools to watch and monitor this. For environmental stewardship, we are focused on sustainability, but also intensive programs to ensure that we are not only complying with national and international standards, but also innovating in how we preserve wild harvested plants that mitigate the spread of invasive species, reduce our environmental footprint overall, and providing training and tools for our harvesters and distillers. Yes. One key environmental stewardship program is in Hawaii with our Kealakekua Mountain Reserve, or KMR. Many of you have already visited KMR when we hosted 500 wellness advocates at the incentive trip in January. How many of you were there? You all got to plant some trees at KMR. This coming January, how many of you are planning to qualify for an incentive trip and visit us at KMR? I'll see you there. I can't wait. KMR is a nearly 9,000-acre land reforestation project on the Big Island, focused on preserving and restoring the native forests of Mauna Loa. This is a new video that explains a little bit more, which we are excited to unveil today.
Massive project to reforest Iliahi. And doTERRA is really committed to doing it right, to not just planting the Iliahi, but really restoring the entire forest.
For centuries, our ancestors were a part of nature. We're connected to them through the Aina, and the sacred responsibilities, or kuleana, to restore what has been lost.
look up this hill a little bit, you'll see a bunch of koa coming in naturally before we've planted. Once the iliahi and the koa can loosen up the grass, then the other ones have a chance to come through just like that.
When we look out at this landscape here, it's been changed over time, and it's exciting to think that when the next generation and after them come, that it's going to be a forest again.
We're 3 generations here. Our mo'opuna, my son Kiahi, my honona Jordan, and myself. We're here as an ohana.
We're just trying to instill good practices for our ohana, so that 30 years from now, when we start seeing this project really flourishing, they'll understand the importance of it, and other projects like it as well.
So KMR is a tremendous amount of work, but as you can see, we're doing a massive reforestation effort, and by the end of 2020, KMR will have planted over 155,000 trees over 565 acres. We're committed to it because even though it's a tremendous amount of work, it's the right thing to do. And as stewards of this land, we are committed to the preservation, restoration, community, and wise use. As we undertake this large-scale reforestation initiative, we are focused on regenerating native forests and the wise use of iliahi, or Hawaiian sandalwood trees, and other resources to ensure that we have Hawaiian sandalwood oil for generations. Without it, it would not be possible to have this oil. As part of this stewardship, we are actually planting 390 sandalwood trees for every 1 tree that would be eventually harvested for oil. This is sustainability. It's beyond sustainability. Now let's shift to poverty solutions as part of co-impact sourcing. These are programs where we can help the most as we source the best by focusing on small farmers and farming cooperatives in developing countries. For example, we have been excited to share in past years, and again this year, all we are doing in Kenya with our partner Fair Oils. The co-impact sourcing program there is incredible and literally lifting thousands of farmers and their families out of poverty. And this will just continue to grow. We are also working closely with harvesting communities in Nepal for wintergreen and spikenard, but also turmeric. Through these co-impact sourcing initiatives, we are able to empower remote communities through training on best practices, providing seedlings and other inputs, giving fair and on-time payments, as well as facilitating social impact projects funded through the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation, some of which you were able to hear from Mark yesterday. With these co-impact sourcing initiatives in Nepal over the past 5 years, we've been able to directly impact more than 238,000 people through jobs created and supported, as well as with the reach of social impact projects funded in these sourcing communities through the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. This is more than $2 million that's been donated to date just for social impact only. Also, more than 30,000 girls and women have benefited through the Powerful Days for Girls program, and this will also only continue to grow. What's also exciting is that nearly 1,000 wellness advocates through the years have now been able to see this firsthand in Nepal by participating on a co-impact sourcing trip, living and working on social impact projects in these amazing harvesting communities. How many of you have been on a co-impact sourcing trip with us? Yes, please come. There's no better way to see firsthand the impact that's happening and to participate. This model of how we are approaching ethical sourcing is truly changing and innovating not only the essential oil industry, but the supply chains in general. Just a couple of weeks ago, Vishnu Adhikari, our co-impact sourcing director, and I had the privilege to present at the 68th annual United Nations Civil Society Conference held here in Salt Lake City and talk about co-impact sourcing, along with two of our key NGO partners, Choice Humanitarian and Mentors International. The co-impact sourcing model is innovating in how a responsible company, partnered NGOs, and conscious consumers like you can align all of our goals to improve livelihoods and end extreme poverty. What is super exciting is that of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that were set by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015, we are directly addressing 11 of these 17 goals through co-impact sourcing. This is amazing. We are transforming for good how essential oils can and should be sourced, which has definitely been disruptive to an industry that has been around a long time, and we are here to be agents of change in a positive way. I think all of us here are positive disruptors, right? This is how we are changing the world, and we'll continue to do so. We've summarized our vision and approach for sourcing the best and helping the most in what we call our 8 sourcing guiding principles, all found on sourcetoyou.com. They're first, generating jobs; second, providing fair and on-time payments; third, building supplier capacity; and fourth, sustaining long-term partnerships with farmers and distillers who share our same commitment to pure natural oils and want to grow with us. The reality is, if we were a company interested in only profit and the easy route, we would not be focused on these principles. I can tell you it would be much easier, given all that goes into oil production, to just buy large tracts of land, build massive commercial farms and distilleries in more cost-effective regions of the world, but that's not our goal nor the way in which we can help the most. We prioritize empowering hundreds of thousands of small farmers and harvesters that are life-dependent on these crops and oils. And through contracting and supporting these distillers that work with them, we are able to provide the opportunity they need to lift themselves and their communities out of poverty. Guiding principles 5 through 8 outline how we focus through co-impact sourcing to help the most, particularly in developing countries. This is through ensuring fair labor conditions, promoting cooperatives, ensuring environmental stewardship, and of course, facilitating through Healing Hands and other donors social impact projects like schools, hospitals, clean water drinking systems, and vocational training centers. All critical needs that can help improve livelihoods in areas of the world where we can make a tremendous impact. We are excited to announce that all of these sourcing guiding principles, the new co-impact sourcing diagram unveiled today, the latest sourcing map, as well as some beautifully done co-impact sourcing brochures and much more can be found on the new and improved sourcetoyou.com, which was announced by Andrew yesterday, as well as on doTERRA.com. So please visit often. We're putting our latest and greatest information on here constantly, and we invite you to please come and find these resources to then share them through your education platforms. In closing, I would love to show you another powerful before and after picture taken recently in Kenya. The picture on the left is of a house belonging to one of our geranium farmers before their first ever harvest. Can you guess what the picture on the right is? On the right is their new house under construction shortly after the harvest finished, as he was paid the very same day of his harvest. For this small farmer and thousands more like him and throughout Kenya working on our oils, this is among the first cash crops they have ever been able to plant, let alone have a partner that is training and supporting them to ensure they can be successful. We do this through providing seedlings, which they pay back over time, giving training, technical support, and a guaranteed buyer on everything that they grow. And as a result, these farmers can improve their own lives through growing essential oil crops that we need and they want to grow. And this encapsulates what co-impact sourcing is all about. Rest assured that you will always get the best through our continued pursuit of what is pure by sourcing only CPTG oils. And we are changing the world and how we source these oils by focusing on helping the most through co-impact sourcing. Thank you for all you do to educate and empower, and thank you for letting our team be a part of this journey as we continue to change the world together. All right, now I am pleased to introduce two of our amazing distiller partners who are going to wow you with their science and art of distillation, as well as teach about how they are working with small farmers in their countries. First, We'll hear from Jean-Marie Maizener, working with us in Guatemala and Peru, and then following Yash, Parekh, our partner working in India. Please help me first, though, by welcoming our friend to the stage, Jean-Marie.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here. I'm sure you're disappointed. You were expecting Hugh Jackman, but I can't dance or sing like him. So I'm just here to talk about the science and art behind distillation. I'm Jean-Marie Maizener, co-founder of Nelixia, and we are doTERRA's distillation partner from in Peru and Guatemala. Humanity has always been fascinated by fragrant raw materials and strived to extract the aroma. Frankincense is actually considered the first perfume and was linked to spirituality. The smoke actually was a link between the earth and heaven. It has been traded for more than 6,000 years. Remains of clay distillation pots dated back more than 5,000 years have been found in the Indus Valley in India, where they still produce methi attar, which is a distillation of clay. It's an earth perfume. On a lighter topic, and to help you use your new doTERRA rose oil, Cleopatra was already distilling rose petals in her famous donkey bath in 50 before Christ. But how do we extract those aromatic molecules from those raw materials? The idea is always to separate light molecules, aroma, from the heavy non-volatile molecules. Extraction techniques depend on the raw material. You can have flowers, seeds, leaves, herbs, wood, resins, and the quality of extract you want to obtain. For example, you have rose essential oil, so the doTERRA rose, and rose absolute, which is different technique. Numerous techniques exist, and I won't start to explain to you everyone. I just want to show you distillation, which is the one which is used for the most doTERRA's products. I'll put a short video on our distillery in Guatemala. Who has been to Guatemala? The others, you're welcome to come anytime. I know we're receiving 100 person in October or November. So how does it work? First, the raw material is sourced, then, sorry, I think it didn't start. Yeah, first the raw material is sourced and prepared and put into a still. A boiler generates steam, which is directed into the still, goes through the raw material, extracts the aromatic molecules, and then goes through, you'll see it in a few seconds, goes through a condenser where it cools down. Then it goes into a Florentine, where it separates by simple decantation between essential oil on one side and water on the other side. The oil is then blended, aerated, that's the blending, and sent to doTERRA. New techniques or innovations are always developed, like microwave distillation, for example. The technique seems simple enough, right? But in the real world, it's way, way more complicated because the choices are infinite. First, a successful distillation starts with the preparation of raw material. Here you can have you can distill freshly cut raw material, wilted, dried, then you can cut, macerate, ferment, grind. I mean, the possibilities are really infinite. For example, ginger, you have dry ginger oil and fresh ginger oil, which are two very, very different oils. Iris roots have to be dried 3 years before distilling. And patchouli leaves have to be fermented to increase the level of patchouli into the oil. Preparation is really, really an art. Possibilities are infinite, and even the smallest variation can lead to drastic difference in quality and yields. Now, you think you've just nailed preparation, it's okay, but let's go to distillation. And then again, possibilities are infinite. You can have 100 liter stills, you can have 20,000 liter stills. You can have stainless steel stills, you can have clay stills, like you see in the photos, which are used for petit grain oil. oil. Distillation time can range from 45 minutes for lemongrass to 7 days for amyris. So really, you can have any kind of variation, and the choices you make will impact the quality and the yield of the oil you'll have at the end. So we talked about the science, but let's talk about quality. And there is where the art is. When you do distillation, you have to deal with the variations of nature. If it rains a lot in Guatemala, we have more 1,8 cyanol in the oil. If it's a dry summer, we have more terpineol acetate in the oil. That's the way it works. Can you go back the video? I'm sorry, I didn't want to launch it. Fine crafting a good essential oil could be the same. I'm sorry, I'm French. As fine crafting a good wine, it's exactly the same thing. We are the we put the same spirit in it. We test batch after batch, analytically, of course, but also the smell, the aroma, because we want you to have a consistent and standard and qualitative oil every time. So that's what we do, and that's the art in it. It's a craft, really. It's not industrial. It's really not industrial. So that's how we smell. You've seen Elisa yesterday. But let's not also forget the important parts. Distillation has a real impact on environment. I mean, when you distill, you have a tremendous amount of biomass waste and you use lots of energy. So you have to take that into account when you distill and to take measures. At Telexia, we invested in the biodigester that you've seen in Guatemala to treat our biomass waste, to produce renewable energy that we use in the boiler, and the byproduct is also fertilizer that we distribute to our communities. But we can talk hours and hours about distillation techniques and optimization. But the real key here is not everything I've just shown you. The real key is the sourcing, because you can be the best distiller in the world, have the best techniques, the most expensive equipment. If you have a bad quality raw material, you'll have a bad yield and a bad quality oil. That's it. I mean, there is no way around it. So what's the only way to ensure quality and quantity in sourcing? The only way, and the way of the future, is ethical sourcing. And that's why we're so aligned and so proud to be part of doTERRA sourcing and co-impact partners. So how do we do it? We go to the source to identify and map the sourcing areas. Which countries, which regions, which communities. So we can have a fully traceable and transparent value chains for our customers. For pink pepper, for example, we have to go as up as 13,000 feet in the Ayacucho mountains in Peru to have a direct link with the communities. Then, after going to the source, we prioritize which communities and producers to work with. We implement long-term contracts, we implement financing, we strive to understand their social needs. Our ultimate goal is to elevate them to become thriving entrepreneurs like us. We can take the example of cardamom. I think I'm a bit behind. We have a great project with doTERRA and cardamom with the CKB Vocational Training Center. And I'm sure, just come and visit it and you'll know more about it. And please don't play the video. Stop it. But also, why do we do it? I mean, why do we at Telexia have 10 sourcing persons and are working closely with 1,000 communities in more than 1,000 producers in 100 communities? Why don't we buy from collectors? Why do doTERRA have such an amazing team that goes to the end of the earth every day to see each supplier and each value chain? Because it's the only way to go. And I want to show you this video so you can try to have an idea of what's a value chain and why it's so important. It's Peru Balsam in El Salvador. And so why do we do all what we do? For those guys, for those value chains. You can play the video now. So we do it for them, and we do it for you to guarantee long-term supply, because it's the only way to go. And if you give people dignity and value their work, they will continue to work. In Peru Balsam, in El Salvador, the product was about to disappear, and with our work, we managed to have young people starting again to do that craft, and that would be so bad for it to disappear. Second is to guarantee the quality, of course. And three is to ensure ethical sourcing. How can you know that you have no child labor or no pesticides if you're not at the source? You can't know. There's no way you know. And we're also, lastly, driven by a mission. The mission is to show the world where the raw materials you use in all your products every day really come from. What's the real story behind it? And it's our role to ensure the sustainability of those raw materials and to ensure that all children, your children, will feel the same emotions in the future than the ones we're feeling right now. And to ensure, if we don't do that, the indispensable essential oils will eventually disappear. And together, we have to make sure that this doesn't happen. Thank you.
Thank you. No worries. Thank you. Thank you, Jean-Marie. As you can easily tell, he is a scientist, but an artist all at once in everything they're doing. And we are perfectly aligned and have been since the day we met them on prioritizing the sourcing and the ethical part of everything we're doing together. It's now my privilege to introduce Yash Parekh from India, who will teach us a little bit more about programs they're doing on innovation, working with small farmers in India. Yash.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, absolutely great. Thank you, Tim. Hello, I'm from India. I'm the proud fourth generation in my family working in essential oils. In our family company called Gem Aromatics, you could say, in addition to my livelihood, essential oils form a part of my heritage and family identity. Our family distilleries has had the great pleasure of working with doTERRA for several years now. And from the beginning of our relationship with doTERRA, we have been working along with an NGO called Farms and Farmers to implement co-impact sourcing and sourcing guiding principles with the farmers we work with. We have empowered our farmers, providing them access to proper agricultural inputs, innovative technology, and a guaranteed buyer for their production. Knowing how to empower farmers starts by addressing their needs. In India, there are 70 million small farmers. Most have limited access to agricultural services, quality inputs, or markets to sell their crops. These challenges lead to 30 to 40% higher input cost, wrong information about crop management, and poor logistical support post-harvest, which in turn leads to about 40% post-harvest loss. Ultimately, the uncertainty regarding their production and supply chains are part of why many of these farmers continue to live in extreme poverty. Solutions to these needs can come in a variety of forms, but those developed by an entity called Farms and Farmers have been truly transformative. Farms and Farmers has developed a community-based approach to agriculture called Dihat. This provides a small farmer access to all the resources necessary to be successful. At the heart of this approach is a sophisticated mobile-based technology that I will introduce you to shortly. Together, doTERRA, GEM, Farms and Farmers have been able to provide thousands of small farmers needed support and develop an ethical supply chain that pays fair market prices. Dihat is unique because it eliminates the pain points that most small farmers in India face. How to access the best agricultural inputs, receiving support for their crop, and finding a market for their products. To accomplish this, our participating farmers are connected to a local Dihat center or farmer support hub, which is run by a local entrepreneur who manages the direct relationships. Farms and farmers then buys the input in bulk to pass along savings to participating Dihat members, generating a saving to them of 10 to 15% on average. Farmers are also given recommendations based on their soil profile, desired crops, location, and historical cropping patterns. Quality crop advice is also typically limited in India. Through Dihat, farmers are given guidance on each step of the process. For example, if a farmer decides to plant turmeric, the Dihat Center manager registers this on the farmer's profile, outlines the areas using a digital map of their fields, and delivers the farmer the correct seeds and other inputs needed to plant. The Dihat system sends regular SMS messages in the farmer's native language, indicating timelines for proper irrigation, the exact quantities of any additional inputs that might be needed, and when to apply them, and when to harvest for maximum yield. Should a farmer face a problem or question during any point in the crop cycle, he or she has access to their local Dihat centers manager as well as a toll-free line to speak with an agronomist. This is truly reformative. No one has done this in India for essential oils. So when the farmer is ready to sell, they can sell to whomever they would like. But if sold to the Dihat center, the price, quantities, and yield data is all recorded in the farmer's profile, which allows the system to calculate the farmer's profit. The increased efficiencies from the Dihat model consistently lead to a 50% increase in income of the farmer per year, an amazing result in any business. Dihat technology, this slide shows just a few screenshots of the mobile app that Dihat farmers use. Features include a crop database with an extensive information, a platform to purchase discounted inputs and receive real-time crop advice, where a farmer can register inquiries and submit photos. This app brings critical service some of the most remote areas of India and brings knowledge and services as a power to small farmers. Also, as a part of Dihat awareness, meetings are extremely important, especially in the first introductory days. We have found it helpful to identify farmers who are progressive, hardworking, to accept new crops and understand challenges they will face. These super farmers become the advocates within their communities, and other farmers see their success. They want to follow their footsteps. The model generates an upward spiral where farmers, Dihat center managers, and stakeholders like GEM and doTERRA can lift one another and create new opportunities for these farmers and their communities. Now, I want to pivot away from the innovations of this model and tell you how doTERRA and GEM and farmers came together to work on a lemongrass initiative in southeastern India, where a few crops are able to grow in the marginal soil conditions found there. These farmers are now greatly benefiting from being able to grow a new value-added crop through lemongrass. Originally, a small pilot project had been done to see what cash crops could be suitable there. It became clear that lemongrass could survive the floods during the monsoon and also arid dry season. Another bonus for these farmers is that roaming cows want nothing to do with lemongrass. Absolutely nothing. Unfortunately for the farmers, however, traditional essential oil traders were not willing to pay the extra cost to ship from the area, so they previously did not commit with a willing buyer. We approached doTERRA with a plan to support these tribal communities through co-impact sourcing initiatives, and the sourcing team quickly backed the project. We began with just a few hundred kilos of oil, but it has done so well that hundreds of individuals are engaged in the project now, many of whom are women. This is a photo of just one of the groups of women who have benefited from the project. Before farming lemongrass, most of these women were just subsistence farmers who had limited opportunities to provide while taking care of their families full time. Today, that has changed. One of these women, Rukin Hasta, became a widow at a very young age with two small sons, Sibu and Dibu. Her situation left her very few opportunities to provide for her family's financial needs. She couldn't take work outside the village and was limited to farming 2.5 acres with her sons. Despite their best efforts, that income was barely enough for their daily needs, but not enough for the boys to continue their schooling. Worried about her sons, she started working on a farm for additional income, and that's where she learned about the doTERRA's lemongrass program. She enrolled initially for about half an acre, and as she was uncertain, but I had not heard about this crop earlier and was unsure about how to do it, whether anyone would even buy her crop. In the past 7 months, through this program, her net income from half an acre is now more than $1,000, about 3 to 4 times more than what she would be making previously. She now has plans to expand her lemongrass production to 2 acres. Her sons Dibu and Shiba are now back in school and continue to help Rukin at the farm as needed. When they grow up, Shiba wants to become a teacher and Dibu a farmer. Rukin's example of hard work will be a blessing to them that they pursue their goals. Finally, I want to talk for a moment about turmeric. India provides 90% of the world's turmeric, and it is widely used in Ayurveda and everyday cooking. However, the majority of the turmeric oils currently in the market are basically leftovers of solvent extracted turmeric, which really do not have significant value in terms of the health benefits. Since there are little quality oil available on the market, we work closely with doTERRA to develop the target profile, and then we set up raw material sourcing and the skills to produce an exclusive, pure and natural turmeric oil not found anywhere else. We worked closely with doTERRA's R&D team to develop a proprietary blend of both dry and fresh turmeric rhizomes, something completely unique to the market. We continue to develop our farmer relationships and are excited to bring benefits of the Hat model to our turmeric farmers. Thank you all for all that you do to teach the world about pure and natural oils. We work so hard every day to distill for you. We are grateful for doTERRA and their focus on co-impact sourcing, which truly empowers small farmers in some of the poorest regions of my country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So grateful we could have Jean-Marie and Yash share some behind the scenes Some of that's a bit nerding out on the agriculture, but you can see how complex and orchestrated this is, but how passionate and amazing the partners we have are about everything we're doing. And it's not possible without these amazing people working so hard that are perfectly aligned with what we're accomplishing. Rukin, the story he told about the lemongrass farmer, this was the story that was actually told by that amazing sand artist on Wednesday. So that was her story that was portrayed in the sand art. And there may be a video coming out soon to help tell a story too. Okay, it's now my great privilege and honor to welcome a much bigger group to the stage with us. Please welcome all of our sourcing team members and grower partners who are here with us this year. They keep coming. Wow, isn't this awesome? Friends, this is the group that is responsible for bringing the most pure and potent oils in the entire world to you. We obviously have more partners that couldn't be here with us, but this is so amazing. And I couldn't be more proud to be privileged enough just to stand on the stage with everyone. Many of them you have met in years past at conventions, some you met this year, and you'll continue to meet more of them in coming years. But first I wanted to share some fun facts about our sourcing team's efforts this past year. Over the past year, we tallied up over the past 12 months a few figures. The sourcing team alone, just in 12 months, has flown 1,979,616 miles in just 12 months. That's a lot of time. But the important thing is that it means we are at the source and we are on the ground and we are implementing very hands-on together with these incredible partners to make sure that our objectives are met and that we are always bringing the best oil. That's 1,231 days on the road collectively. But probably in addition to the miles flown and some long car rides, the most interesting fact was actually a 13-hour donkey ride that Jackson had the great privilege of doing in the hills of Ethiopia. Along with this came 9 canceled flights, 10 flat tires, which I think is an understatement. They're probably worth more than that. But grossly enough, 10,112 bug bites, which we documented very carefully. I'm kidding, maybe. All of this means a lot of work to be at the source by an incredible group of team members. On this stage with us today, we have 25 countries represented, 25 different languages spoken from 5 different continents. Our reach is truly global to bring the very best to you. For a few minutes, I wanted to ask a couple questions to 3 of our partners that you may not have heard from in the past. So first, our friend Ashad from Oman, please. Come on, Ashad. Ashad, can you tell us a little bit about frankincense from Oman and its historical significance?
Hello. Frankincense plays an important role in the economy and culture of the doTERRA region of Oman. We work with the harvesters throughout this region and source the raisins and then distill the essential oil from the Boswellia sacra trees. Historically, many cities in the doTERRA region of Oman became the hub for the frankincense trade. The frankincense trade in frankincense. The lost city of Obar is one of the cities that flourished from the trade in frankincense. This trade route delivered frankincense raisins from the Horn of Africa and Arabia to areas alongside the Mediterranean and Mesopotamia. Across many ancient civilizations, frankincense was important for religious beliefs and cultural practices.
Thank you. It indeed has a long, long history. Ashad, as you know, there's been concern, of course, about sustainability of the frankincense forests in all of these areas of the Horn of Africa and Arabia. This has been of utmost importance, as everyone knows, that doTERRA is focusing on through co-impact sourcing initiatives to ensure we have sustainability for these trees. Can you tell us a little bit about the state of frankincense in Oman and all the work you have done over many years to help preserve the Boswellia species in Oman?
A royal decree was passed by the Sultan of Oman in 1997, which has proved to be instrumental in sustainable conservation and management of Boswellia sacra. Successful nursery propagation of Boswellia sacra has played a significant role in the rehabilitation and continuation of Boswellia sacra regeneration. We are pleased to have partnered with doTERRA to create the first and only private nursery which propagates frankincense trees from seeds and cuttings. Our goal is to plant 20,000 more frankincense trees next year in its natural habitat. doTERRA's continued support, this project will help ensure a sustainable source of frankincense oil for generations to come.
Thank you, Ashad. It's incredible the years you devoted in your career to preserving the trees and the oil, and it's so great privilege of ours to be partnered with you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Ashad. Now I'd love to introduce you to Elena. Elena is the Dos Equis guy is the most interesting man in the world. Elena is the most interesting woman in the world. Elena, it's so great to have you here with us again at convention as always. Can you please tell us where you're from and what oils you source for us, you produce for us?
Thank you. It's really so great to be here. I provide clary, sage, cilantro, coriander seed oil, and sweet fennel. And then Siberian fir needle oil. In Siberia, we work with a network of over 200 pichtovas, or small distillers. In the summer months, they collect and distill fir needles using small distillation units. And without doTERRA's support, there will be really very few other opportunities for these pichtovas.
Thank you. Elena's working with so many networks and cooperatives and distillers, and it's amazing to bring oil from the far reaches of Russia to us, including Siberia. We also understand you've been working on another new project. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. In last month, we broke ground on a new farm and distillery in Moldova. It's a small country in Eastern Europe. It's what many people don't know about Moldova, that it used to be a major essential oil region producing essential oils in the Soviet Union. And it's a beautiful country with great soils. But unfortunately, it's also the poorest country in all of Eastern Europe, where the average income is $2,000 per year. With doTERRA's support, our new distillery will bring life, new farming, distilling jobs in rural areas. And I'm really very excited about this project, because by next year, we will provide you with more oils from this region.
Yes. Thank you, Elena. It really is exciting to see. We're grateful for all you've been doing for your home country of Russia, but now in Moldova, where we can make a big difference. Thank you. All right. Emmeline they all came out with flags, but I'm a little biased that I really think Albania has the coolest flag in the world, but Emmeline, come out. It's great to have you here at Global Convention. It's a big deal to have you here.
Great.
Remember what happened last year?
Well, I was supposed to be here last year as well, but the night before I was supposed to get on a flight, my kidneys decided to pass a couple of stones, so it made it impossible to be here. I am very excited to be here finally, especially because I have my family here with me as well. And,
yes, this is so fun to have Lauren and Mila here. Emmeline, can you, I guess I broke the secret on the Albanian flag, but tell us where you're from and the oils you produce for us.
Well, I am from the country with the coolest flag in the world, obviously. And for those who do not know where Albania is, it is situated in the Balkans, along the Balkan Mountains, and it sits on the coast of the Mediterranean. And we produce some of the coolest oils in the world, including helichrysum, juniper berry, and bay leaf.
Yes. Love Albania. Emmeline, can you tell us what it means to you to be partnered with doTERRA as a distiller?
Well, it definitely is a dream come true. We work with other clients, but it usually feels just like a simple business transaction done over the computer or email. With you, it's a whole different level in many respects. I know that on the other side, there are people that care and they want to know what's happening with our oils and our production. And I have you and Matt that's over there that always email, call, and visit us, knowing how that you can help us improve our business and improve the lives and the relationships that we have with our farmers. I guess the best way to describe this is that we matter.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. It really is such a privilege and honor for us to be able to work with you and your family through the farmers you work with. Can you tell us just a little bit about what's changed for these farmers? How have they been benefiting in these recent years as you've started to work with them through the distillery we're partnered with?
Sure. The biggest thing is that our partners, farmers' mentality has changed. I used to be the one who would call visit farmers trying to convince them that they should farm for us. Now it's switched. I have farmers calling me every day asking what they can do and how they can partner with us. Now they trust us even more. We offer them contracts that are longer than a year, so now they have a reason to stay and farm their lands instead of just going to the major cities or outside the country of Albania trying to find work and income for their families. A small farmer that's partnered with us makes an extra $4,000 to $6,000 per year. The average income in Albania, monthly income, is just a little under $350, so that is huge for them. It's
per month, $350 per month, yeah.
We work with a network of over 350 small farmers, as well as many other harvesters work in the fields and collect in wild harvest plants. doTERRA and the co-impact sourcing has truly changed the livelihoods for hundreds of rural Albanians families. I hope that we can continue doing this. Actually, it's my goal that we can continue doing this for many years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Emlyn. Albania, we can't wait to show you more about all the amazing things happening in Albania. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give a huge thank you and final round of applause to these amazing sourcing partners and our sourcing team that worked so hard.
Please welcome your founding executive, scientific and healthcare initiatives, Dr. David Hill.